Hey Eagles fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into Philadelphia Eagles Now. And today, before we jump into the video, we're going to do a mailbag video over the weekend. So use the hashtag Eagles, ask a question down below in the comment section. I will most likely pull it and answer it whatever kind of question you guys want regarding the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, hashtag Eagles down in the description box, and I will answer that over a video this weekend. Alright, so we've been talking a lot about players the Eagles should take in the first round. We talked about Justin Jefferson, Henry Ruggs, Judy Lamb. We talked about a ton of players we expect the Eagles to go ahead and grab at number 21. We've kind of been ignoring, I would say, a lot of people in the media, players that have been linked to Philadelphia that none of us want them to go ahead and draft. So I came up with a list of 3 players I think the Eagles should completely avoid at number 21 overall, who they have been linked to at number 21 overall. That's important. This is not just me going, oh, well, they should stay away from Tua because we have Carson Wentz. No, that's too obvious. These are players that have been linked, they have been mocked, they have been suggested to go to Philadelphia that to me would be big mistakes at number 21 overall, and I'm going to give you guys a person they could draft instead later on at these same positions. It'll be a fun video. Let's go ahead and start right now with CJ Henderson, the cornerback out of Florida. So here's the deal. There are a lot of people mocking the Eagles to go ahead and take a cornerback or even a safety at number 21 overall, and Henderson is likely going to be the second cornerback taken in the first round. Now, he could go as high as the early teens, but there's a very real possibility with the wide receivers going off the board, he could be there at number 21, and you could see the scenario here for a lot of draft experts and mock guys saying, well, they signed Darius Slay, but Jalen Mills is going to play safety. Do they really trust Avonte Maddox or Sidney Jones? And so they go ahead and mock CJ Henderson to Philadelphia. And again, he could be there with a run on wide receivers. I do not think they need another cornerback, and I think that I would avoid Henderson at all costs. I trust Avonte Maddox to be the starter, and if not him, Sidney Jones apparently has bulked up and been working out a ton with the defensive backs coach to go ahead and get better to be a starter in the NFL draft. Here's my problem with Henderson before we get into the NFL.com. He's not a ball hawk. He's not a guy who has a bunch of interceptions in his career, had 0 in 2019, was better early on at Florida, but I want a guy who is going to be a ball hawk and does not get beat deep, and apparently, from my film review and my reading up on Henderson, that's what happens whenever he gets into trouble. Here's the NFL.com on Henderson, quote, he makes mental mistakes from time to time and occasionally loses awareness from zone. He's willing and capable in run support, but needs better control as an open field tackler. Henderson's a fluid cornerback with ball skills and burst, and has a CB1 ability as a first rounder. So again, he's not the worst cornerback in the National Football League. He's not the worst cornerback in the draft. These are all players who will go in the first round. They have a lot of upside, and Henderson might be a good cornerback. I would just avoid him overall. Again, look at the Eagles secondary. Darius Slay and Avonte Maddox will be your starters on the outside. Jalen Mills will go ahead and be one safety, and McLeod will be the other, and you're probably going to go ahead and run, I would bet, Sidney Jones in the slot, but you could switch those guys and play Jones on the outside and Maddox on the slot as well. If the Eagles need to take a cornerback in this draft, why not spend one of your 4th round draft picks on a guy like Lamar Jackson? So my alternative to leaving CJ Henderson at number 21, not touching him, is to take a cornerback later on. That's Lamar Jackson out of Nebraska. He might be the best pure cover cornerback in the later rounds of the draft. He's big, he's tall, he's physical, he has ball skills, he has speed, he has everything. The problem is he played in Nebraska, and so obviously he was not exactly a featured cornerback on a lot of TV screens that a lot of people were able to watch. Is he perfect? No, it's why he's going to go later on in the NFL draft. But as we say, wide receiver at 21, I got to get a cornerback. Leave Henderson, get somebody else like a Lamar Jackson. Yes, not the cornerback Lamar Jackson, the corner out of Nebraska later on in the mid to 3rd or 4th round of the NFL draft. Quick ad break here on YouTube. You guys think the Eagles need another cornerback opposite Darius Slay? Type Y down below for yes, type N down below for no. I'm going to type no, but I'm curious what you guys think. Okay, moving on. Another guy that has been linked heavily to Philadelphia at number 21 is a wide receiver, but to me, is the one wide receiver that has been linked to Philadelphia we should completely stay away from in the first round. If he's there in the second round, 53, sure, go ahead and take him. But first round, I do not like Jalen Reagor out of TCU, but apparently the Eagles love Jalen Reagor, as he's one of those guys like KJ Hamler out of Penn State, talked about him yesterday, that the Eagles are very, very high on. He has great hands, runs very solid routes, but in my opinion, was just not productive enough on the football field as a wide receiver at TCU his senior year. His production dropped. I know they had a bad quarterback, but to me, there are much better options at wide receiver at number 21 than Reagor. Don't take him at 21 Philadelphia, please. There are better options. I'll explain in a second. Here's what the NFL.com had to say about Jalen Reagor. Quote, he's electric with the ball in his hands, so getting it to him quickly rather than asking him to consistently make plays for himself as a ball winner could be crucial, meaning you've got to scheme plays to get them in his hands, whether it's, tunnel screens or getting him with quick passes or quick hitches or whatever it is. He's not going to go make plays for himself to go get the football, get himself open. He's going to go ahead and be great with the ball in his hands, and I think Philadelphia needs a guy who can create separation and who can actually make plays for himself before he gets the football, and then also make plays with the football. Listen, there are better options than what Jalen Reagor is presenting at number 21 overall. One is Justin Jefferson. If Jefferson's not there, I would take T. Higgins, despite the fact he's not a speed guy, although he did run a pretty fast 40 at the NFL Combine. I'd take Higgins over him. I'd take Shenault over him despite the injury. I'd take Denzel Mims over him as well. Now, we talked about players you can take in later rounds. We mentioned him earlier. KJ Hamler out of Penn State will be there in the second round, probably at number 53 overall. So, take someone else at number 21. Take Mims, take Jefferson, take Higgins, take Shenault, and then if you've got to get a smaller speed wide receiver to replace Nelson Agholor, Hamler's going to be there in the second round. Do not spend number 21 overall on Jalen Reagor like a lot of people. I'm telling you, a lot of people are mocking this right now for the Philadelphia Eagles, saying they will take Reagor if Jefferson is not available at number 21 overall. I think that is going to be a huge mistake. Final player here on this list. Before we do that, type M down below for Mims, type R down below for Reagor. I want to go to a head-to-head comparison here. I'd much rather have Denzel Mims, so I type M, but I'm curious if there's a lot of you guys who like the media, like Reagor more than Mims. Comment down below. I'm going to read the comments and see how this one goes. Final guy here that has been linked a little bit to Philadelphia. Not as much as I would say Reagor has, or obviously as much as Henderson has, but we've seen multiple mocks saying the Eagles could go pass rusher. It's K'Lavon Chaisson out of LSU. Now, I don't think Chaisson will be there at number 21. I think he's going to go a little bit earlier because there are teams with need at pass rusher. The Atlanta Falcons at 16 might take him. But if he is available, despite the fact that, everyone says you can never have enough pass rushers, and we're probably not going to trade for Yannick Ngakoue, I would still leave K'Lavon Chaisson on the draft board and not take him because he's not the type of pass rusher Philadelphia needs. Plus, the major concern is injuries. 2018, tore his ACL, basically didn't play the entire year. Last year, missed 2 games with a very bad ankle injury and was, shot with painkillers for the remainder of the season. His injuries concern me. He's a little bit undersized, and to me does not fit the Eagles' 4-3 pass rushing scheme that Jim Schwartz is trying to go ahead and develop. Here's the NFL.com on Chaisson saying, quote, he's not a physical run defender and might be a liability earlier in his career against power. Chaisson's stock has gained momentum with a surging performance matching the elite athletic qualities. It adds up to an increasingly confident projection as an impact pass rusher with Pro Bowl potential. Now that sounds great, but he's got to be in the right in the right place. The Eagles have shown they like big, powerful defensive ends. They did it with Brandon Graham, and Derek Barnett is no small defensive end either. They've never really had success with smaller pass rushers over the recent Doug Peterson time there in Philadelphia. Now, can Chaisson still be elite? Sure. Could he try to be the best pass rusher in the draft? Possibly. Any of these guys on this list could actually prove me wrong and be really, really good. I think there are better options for Philadelphia later on in the NFL draft, and we've talked about how the Eagles have already signed a guy like Jonald Avery who's going to try to be that kind of backup pass rusher alongside Josh Sweat, as you see on your screen right now. The player to take instead is Yetur Gross-Matos, the defensive end out of Penn State, who a lot of people are saying did not have enough production last year at Penn State, but that was because they moved him to nose tackle instead of defensive end, and yet still had a very, very productive final season there with the Nittany Lions. I think he, being a pass rusher, being the right size for Philadelphia, being of the right mold, would be a much rather later round pick in the second or third round instead of taking a guy like Chaisson at number 21 overall. Again, the whole point of this video is to show you guys that there are other options besides the guys that are being mocked that I don't think the Eagles should go ahead and take. Now, before we go ahead and wrap up the video, be sure to subscribe to the Philadelphia Eagles now because we're approaching 7,000 subs. We might already be there by the time you watch this video. We're trying to continue to grow the best Eagles channel on YouTube. I think we're doing a very good job of that overall. To wrap everything up, again, any of these 3 guys could turn out to be good. Henderson might turn out to be the best cornerback. You could have Chaisson be the best pass rusher, and let's say Jalen Reagor is the best slot receiver in this draft. There's no way to know 100% these guys are going to be bad. Watching the film and looking at the other options that Philadelphia has, I think there are better options instead of taking these guys at number 21. Do I think they would take one of these guys? I think they would if, let's say, Justin Jefferson is not there at 21, but I would rather reach for a guy like Denzel Mims. So the point of this video, again, is to show you guys who else is being mocked to the Eagles, not just at wide receiver, and why we should be a little bit concerned about each one of them, because as I've said before, the goal of this channel, not just to give you guys news, rumors, and updates, but to educate you on the NFL draft as we get closer. That way, if they were to take Chaisson at 21, you go, wait a second, Thomas Mott talked about him, a little bit concerning. We'll see how it plays out. There you guys go. Be sure to go ahead and leave a comment down below for the mailbag video. Ask a question using the hashtag Eagles. We'll get that up on the channel probably later on this weekend. Then we have something to do as we're all sitting inside and very, very bored. All the time we have for today. For Philadelphia Eagles Now, I'm Thomas Mott, signing off. Enjoy the rest of your day.